Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is Psychic Medium Ray. Today I am in the library. I had to do some research on a project that I'm working on. So yeah, and I decided to go ahead and do some readings here for my clients privately by email, and also to do a reading on Stephen Twitch Boss. If you're not familiar, he is Ellen DeGeneres' DJ, or was her DJ. There's a lot of speculation as to what happened. It's very unclear because he never looked like he was, according, to people that knew him, he never looked like he was depressed or like had mental issues or anything was awry. And he had a lot of opportunities coming up with HGTV that we know of. So basically he took an Uber from somewhere. I believe it was his house. I don't know. There's a lot of different stories circulating. And so we're going to get to the bottom of this and see what Spirit has to say. LAPD is typical. There's no foul play or evidence of foul play. They found a note in the hotel room where they found him, apparently or allegedly, saying that, that he had, alluding to past issues that he's had. And so I don't know what all the contents were about this letter, but we're going to get into what Spirit shows me. Again, this is all for entertainment purposes only, although we do know that Spirit does channel. It's just a disclaimer I have to give out there. And remember, everything is alleged because, again, a lot of the stuff that we say as psychics and mediums cannot necessarily be validated because there's a lot of corruption and a lot of things, a lot of lies out there that are being said. We know this. If you've ever listened to Sloan, Bella, and other people, you'll know as well, that we're labeled as conspiracy theorists or that we're just batshit crazy, and we're not. So, all right, let's get into it and see. When I saw him on Ellen, I've always loved Steven's energy. It was high vibrational. The Six of Pentacles was like money being given. It's almost like he was a giver by nature. He would do things. He would have taken the shirt off his back to give to people. That's how kind and generous I feel like he was. The Queen of Pentacles would be like someone close to him. This could be his wife, that he really esteemed. And she was like, very much nurture mother, but also has her own career, or whatever she does. I don't know what she does professionally, but it could be just being a mother, motherhood, mother to the kids. That's a job in itself. Um, the Eight of Swords is someone who feels trapped, right? There is a lot of mental conflict. When we look at the swords, we immediately put that together and say that um, the swords deal with our mental health. It's all like mentally created. It's a very air energy, right? So basically with the Eight of Swords, what they're saying here is that he created a lot of these not letting people know what was going on in his head. If he did have depressive thoughts, I think that he did get in his head quite a bit, but he didn't let a lot of people in to that part of his life. And he may have pushed people away because he did not feel like they needed to know part of, one being that he's a man, one being that he's a straight man, he's not emotional, two, well, the two being a straight man, three, being being just who he is and his culture. A lot of people are not going to be very open or trusting to other people. So again, I just feel like, again, he was just raised that way. When I say cultures, like he was raised that way to be more um, self-sufficient and not necessarily pour his heart out on his sleeve. The Ace of Wands, though, was a lot of the creative ventures, new beginnings that he had on the way that was coming. So that was like his future, his destiny. But the world shows me the alleged suicide or ending of his life. The world, in this case, represents an ending, a complete cycle. So he came to Earth, is what I feel what Spirit is saying, and he completed what he needed to complete, which was like maybe for him, like, because we all have individual contracts, what people need to understand. Um, so he completed what he needed to complete, whether he was, whether this was a suicide, whether this was something, a greater than that, more sinister than that. I'm just alluding to that. I'm stating here, his soul signed up for this. We all have a blueprint or a contract. We know how we're going to go. already before anybody else does. We may not know consciously here in our physical body, but subconsciously our spirit knows, things that are going to happen before because we signed up for it and that exit. So I think that what I got from spirit is that he got to complete the things that he needed to, which was to have a successful career, making his family proud, having a beautiful wife and beautiful children, making great, great connections in Hollywood and friends. Again, but ultimately there was a darker thing that was plaguing him. This could have been because he was so spiritually open that he had the susceptibility to be attacked by spirits. I know that kind of sounds a little like out there, but typically when we're talking about like demonic stuff or possessions, a lot of people don't want to realize that, those entities are very negative and very hateful, and they are liars. They get into your head. They can't physically always manifest and attack you physically. They can sometimes, but because I feel like Stephen was very strong, they kind of attacked more of his mental state. So what he could have experienced or felt days or weeks and months prior to this was like an incessant voice talking to him. And that's how demons operate. They talk to you, they talk to you in the head. Only you can hear them. They tell you to cause harm to yourself, to kill yourself, to do all these kind of things that are heinous, or to hurt other people around you. And so Stephen was the type of person, I kind of feel like, he would not have done this to himself willingly, because again, he knew that this would hurt his kids. And I don't feel like he would hurt his kids or his wife intentionally. But I do feel like on a spiritual level, this is a spiritual battle that we're dealing with right now, and the evil that we're dealing with that permeates the world, whether you want to believe that or not. We have two vibrations. We have a good energy, good vibrations, the angelic realm, and we have the demonic realm. And it's very, very existent in Hollywood, very much like a lot of people are very plagued, and not just in Hollywood, but everyday people. um the Ten of Cups, though, is like he is on the other side, and I feel like he's protecting his family. He wants his wife to be happy. I feel like she was like his soulmate, and that's what he's making me feel. He was emotionally happy in his relationship. He didn't do this, or this didn't happen to him because he was unhappy in his marriage. So he wants to be clear about this. As a medium, I have to give you what I'm getting from him directly, is that he was happy in his marriage. So there's a lot of speculation. I know people will come for me in the comments like, maybe his wife had something to do with it. A lot of that is speculation, near hearsay. Um, but I feel like what spirit is definitely saying is that he was happy in his marriage, and he wants that to be known. He does want her to have financial prosperity. So I don't know who got his money, if she and the kids, or she's the person that would manage it. I don't know if he had a will, but I just feel like, again, she would be on the receiving end because she was his queen. That's the Nine of Pentacles. It's like all the money he's worked hard for, it would go towards the family. The Page of Wands is like, he's worried about, his children's future, but he knows that they will be fine. There's a creative uh, side to what they're coming from. Um, the Eight of Cups is him walking away from all of this. Like, again, it was a very abrupt departure, something that wasn't necessarily planned as people would think. I think that it was just a very sudden decision, to be in that place. And the King of Cups here is like someone else that looked at him. So there was definitely another male energy that was maybe didn't have as great, and it could have been a Caucasian or light-skinned person. It could be Mexican, Italian, I don't know. But there was somebody that did not like him. I think that because he was African American, because he was very successful, sometimes in the industry, and this is not about a race situation, but I'm just saying, sometimes in the industry, they don't want to see certain people of certain colors, or certain nationalities to prosper, or ethnicities. It's the way that it is. It's always been like that, even in Hollywood. If you notice, like all the actresses from the 1950s, they were all one race. Like you rarely saw, only when you look at like Dorothy Dandridge and other people that were African American, it was very, very minute. The Emperor is again another person, an older man. So it's like we have two men that are involved, or like somehow um had their eyes on him. One of these men could be more of a like the King of Cups could have been more of like, I feel like actually more of like an opportunity to work with someone else, like a producer of a TV network, et cetera, like what he would have had coming, in the future for his career. But the emperor feels like someone else that's like very domineering, someone that's very like, abrasive, stubborn, kind of like there's some toxicity there, which I'm going to get some clarification. There was maybe like him like focusing on his relationship as well. So the lovers card comes up, so I don't know why that's coming up now, but it's like somebody was maybe jealous of his relationship as well, like they didn't agree with what he had with his wife and the beautiful children they had. So like I feel like again just jealousy mainly is like what I feel like is jealousy, people being jealous of him. But the Queen of Wands is like, I would feel like that would be Ellen, someone that was very like creative and gave him an opportunity, and then the Five of Wands shows me drama. So beyond what we can see here, what we know, what was told, there was some kind of drama unfolding, um, already behind the scenes, with certain group of people. And it's like, did he take part in this or was he more a part? But I just feel like because I see all of this, there was some drama going on around him. The King of Swords kind of makes me feel again that he was in his head a lot and kind of like was a little confused at times. But the Three of Pentacles is like he was actually a leader in many ways. He did well working as a group, in a team. But the Four of Cups is like not being able to make decisions, kind of like being in your head again, getting distracted. Again, voices talking to him. Because I feel like again he was very pensive. But the Temperance card was like he had no patience. I don't feel like he felt like things were gonna like take off in his career after the Ellen show. And I think that Ellen holds a lot of guilt because of I think the Ellen show was canceled, or I don't know if it's still airing, but I feel like there was going to be an ending or a finality around that. And I feel like he always wondered like what would happen post Ellen, post show, like what would he be able to have the success that he had? Would he find a good boss like that? So for him, there was a lot of worries and being preoccupied, a lot of responsibility riding on his shoulders too. Because I feel like it wasn't just his wife and his kids, like, but other people that he may have helped or organizations. So we have the Nine of Cups was like wealth. He couldn't see that he was going to have a path of wealth in this lifetime. But with the Eight of Wands, I kind of feel like, again, they're saying here, there was a lot of communication between him and another person prior to him passing. And the Moon card is like, this is his fears. He had a lot of self-created fears coming to the surface. And I think that a lot of them were being exposed or something was going to be exposed. And he, again, I have to talk be a very elusive in what I say and how I say it. But I feel like there was something that was going to come out, something that he was fearing that led him to it led him, plus the voices in his head to this culmination of events. Was he sacrificed? Quite possibly that could have been the case here. I'm not saying yes or no, but I am saying that he was wanting to move away from Hollywood or move away from certain people. The Six of Swords is a card of moving. And it's funny that we would have his fears manifesting and then moving or like trying to like get away. So it's almost like he knew something was about to happen and he wanted to escape it. He wanted to run from it because it scared him, whatever this was that was going to come out. And like he did not sleep well. Like I feel like nights and days before he had problems sleeping. And in his head, again, a lot of air energy, a lot of mental energy here. So he was in his head a lot. I do feel like there was some mental illness of some sort, but it wasn't that he was crazy, because we all have mental health issues. Like no matter how sane you are, no one is 100% sane or perfect. But I feel like the Two of Swords, he had some decisions that he made, and that kind of like it was the future that scared him. Again, I'm seeing a lot of fear here. So he was like something, or that he was fearing someone, something was coming out. He was very fearful of it, and he wanted to escape it, and he didn't know how to escape it. So it was like Two of Wands is like there was some planning here of traveling maybe to a different country. He thought maybe like in the end, it's rather than like, you know, leaving this world, maybe leaving to another country and like taking on a new identity. and never be found again. But the high priestess is that there is someone that knows the truth, and this is a female energy. Somebody does know. I think that he was very intuitive too, and this is kind of saying he was intuitive, but I do get a female energy, like, or like that the family has contacted a psychic already, or someone that kind of has told them, kind of some of the things that I'm saying, or maybe something else. But I feel like they've contacted someone, or someone's contacted them. The Knight of Cups is, again, he was kind of like chivalrous. He would have given his energy and his love, to other people. But again, this is the Four of Swords, which is basically the death card. In many ways, it's not the death card, but it represents health. So his health wasn't good. His mental health wasn't good. Again, it's also could represent like being the target of the way I interpret it of an attack, like being sabotaged, ultimately resulting in a laying state of rest, right? And the card right after that is the Five of Pentacles. So again, he may have had some fears, or this, if this was something more than a suicide, there was more like fear of, again, about his financial future, and like being ruined. It was almost like somebody threatened to blacklist him or ruin him in his career. But again, the Three of Wands is like where he's at in the spiritual world. He's a lot stronger, and I think that there's a big connection, there, with a Gemini. I don't know who would be the Gemini in his life, but the Knight of Pentacles again is like he wants to continue to create a legacy through his family. So it's like his children may do things in memory of his honor. And other people, that know him, friends, may have commemorate him in a certain way. But I think that there's still a lot of positive energy that will come from all of this. But I do feel like in time, the truth will surface a little bit. But again, I feel like this is a backstabbing. Again, the Ten of Swords is like being betrayed, right? So again, I do feel like that this is could be, and this is like justice. Again, someone carrying out their own justice. So the cards are speaking, whether you want to believe it or not. I don't feel like he would have hurt himself or his children. So again, this is the Three of Cups. After he was hurt and someone loved it, there was a rejoicement here, or rejoicing, like a celebration of some sort. Again, this is all indicating ritualistic stuff. It's indicating a lot of like satanic evil energy. You know what I mean? It's indicating a lot of cover-ups, as we would normally see. Four of Pentacles here. Again, a lot of greed from someone. Um, and I don't feel like this is his wife, or if she would know anything. I feel like it was other energy here. The Magician, again, magic. This is the pentagram. The pentagram is not an evil thing, but it can be evil in the context, whether it's used for good or bad. But again, there's a lot of magic, a lot of cover up here, a lot of witchery or sorcery, a lot of Kabbalah stuff. Like, I don't even know. I just keep hearing Kabbalah. I keep hearing like um, things, dark things happening. Um, but I do feel like there's something here that is not right with the case itself. And it was closed too fast. But again, most of them are when it comes to the LAPD, and celebrities, that are in a certain circuit or network. But that's what I see and I hear. I hope that this helps you. For those of you that were wanting to have a reading on this, again, that's all I can say for my own safety and my own purpose. Here again, this is all allegedly from spirit, but again, I hope that you all are doing well, and I hope that if you have any, follow-up questions, I'm sorry, not follow-up questions, but like if you have any suggestions for other readings, you can comment in the comment section below. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit that like button as well on that bottom right hand side of this video, as well as the notification bell icon. Turn that to all. All right, guys, until next time, and bye. Have a good night.